Come on, don't be dramatic, my sister sneered. Obviously mom and dad can't be in two places at once. My birthday is special. Your graduation happens every year for someone. Her voice still rings in my ears, sharp, bright, and mocking like she enjoyed twisting the knife. Before I tell you what happened next, let me set the emotional temperature of that day. You know that feeling when your heart gets heavy but your face still tries to stay normal? When everyone around you is celebrating and you're standing in the middle, invisible? Yeah, that was me. Hi everyone. My name is Isla, and the day I graduated, the day I thought would finally make my parents proud, was the same day they quietly chose my sister's birthday over my entire future. I didn't know then that it was the beginning of the end. It started like any typical morning before a big milestone. The gown was pressed. The cap was ready. My hands were shaking, the good kind of nervous. For once I thought I'd be seen. I kept checking my phone for a message from mom or dad. Anything. A "we're on our way." A "save us seats." Even a silly emoji. Nothing. The auditorium was filling fast. Colorful sashes, families cheering, camera flashes. The whole place buzzing with joy. Except for the hollow ache settling inside me. 10 minutes before the ceremony my phone finally buzzed. Mom, sweetheart, we're so sorry. Something came up. We'll celebrate tonight. Be happy for your sister today. Happy for my sister. A birthday party. Not even a milestone. Not even an emergency. Just a party. I felt the air leave my lungs. Not dramatically. Not loudly. Just a quiet, painful collapse inside my chest. The kind no one sees. When my name was called on stage I walked up alone. Rows of cheering parents. Bright faces. Arms waving. And one empty row near the middle that should have belonged to my family. The applause felt like static. The spotlights felt too warm. And for the first time in my life I realized something brutal and simple. Some families don't forget you. They just never saw you to begin with. I stepped off the stage, diploma in hand, and whispered something to myself I didn't yet understand. This is the last time they get to break me. Promise. Or maybe a warning. The part that came next changed everything. I didn't cry after the ceremony. People think moments like these end with tears, but mine ended with silence. The kind that feels heavier than any breakdown. My friends took pictures with their families. Moms fixing caps. Dads hugging too tightly. Siblings holding bouquets. I held my diploma like it weighed 100 pounds. When I finally stepped outside the sun was too bright. Too cheerful. Almost mocking. My parents still hadn't called. No, how was it? No, send us photos. Not even a guilty check-in. Just nothing. I sat on a low concrete bench outside the hall, watching people leave in groups, wrapped in love I'd never been given. I kept telling myself they'll show up. They have to. But deep down I knew the truth I'd avoided for years. My sister was the chosen one. The favorite. The sun they orbited around. And I had spent my entire life trying to be enough in the shadows. At 4:17 p.m. my phone buzzed again. My sister. Hope you didn't expect them. Anyway, can you pick up a cake on your way home? Mom forgot. That was it. The message that broke something clean inside me. Not anger. Not rage. Just a cold, sharp clarity. I stared at her text for a long moment before locking my phone and standing up. I didn't go home. I didn't buy any cake. I didn't explain anything. I walked in the opposite direction, diploma pressed against my chest, whispering one quiet truth. If they don't choose me, I'll choose myself. And that decision pulled the first thread that unraveled everything. I didn't go home that night. Instead, I walked until the city turned into quiet streets and the heat of the day faded into a cold breeze that felt almost comforting. My gown was still on. My cap was tucked under my arm. I must have looked ridiculous, a graduate wandering alone with no one waiting for her. But for the first time in a long time I wasn't scared of being alone. I was scared of going back. When I finally reached my small rented room near campus, I didn't turn on the lights. I just sat on the floor, letting the darkness settle around me like a blanket I didn't ask for but needed anyway. My parents didn't call. Not that night. Not the next morning. Not even to pretend they cared. What finally came was a message. A bright, bubbly voice note from Mom. Sweetheart, the birthday was lovely. You should have come after your little ceremony thing. Anyway, we're going shopping today for her gift. Don't forget to congratulate her. Buy little ceremony thing. The words replayed in my head until they felt poisonous. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my laptop, pulled up the photos from graduation and saved only one. The one where I stood alone, smiling at the camera with a kind of strength I didn't feel yet. That photo would remind me of this moment later. The moment I stopped chasing a family that kept walking away. And just when I thought their neglect had reached its peak, they found a new way to hurt me. A week after graduation, I finally heard my parents' voices. Not because they called me, but because I walked into the house and found them laughing in the living room, retelling moments from my sister's birthday party. I stood in the doorway for a full minute before anyone noticed me. Mom glanced over her shoulder. "Oh, Isla. You're back? Did you eat?" That was it. "No. How was your ceremony?" "No, we're proud of you." Just a casual question like I'd returned from a supermarket run. Dad didn't even look up from his phone. My sister smirked at me. "She got all emotional and dramatic yesterday. Ignore her. Anyway, Mom, show me that necklace again, the one I liked." They moved on as if I wasn't standing there. As if my graduation, something I'd worked years for, meant nothing. I walked to my room, closed the door and sat on the edge of my bed with a strange calm inside me. You know that moment when disappointment stops hurting and turns into something sharper? That was the night it happened. Later, while I was heating leftover rice, my sister came into the kitchen. "You should have come to the party," she said lightly. "You know I'm the important one. I mean, it's not your fault. You're just not memorable." Not memorable. She said it like it was a fact written in some family constitution. I didn't react. Not with tears. Not with anger. Just a quiet, steady realization. This wasn't a family anymore. It was a hierarchy. And I'd finally hit the bottom so hard that the only direction left was up, away from them. The next morning I made my decision quietly. No dramatic speeches. No confrontations. No begging for anyone to understand me. I packed 2 bags, clothes in one, documents in my laptop in the other, and walked out while the house was still asleep. The air smelled like early morning dew and freedom, a mix I had never tasted before. I left my key on the kitchen counter with a short note. "I need peace. Don't look for me." Not that they would. I rented a room closer to my job, picked up extra shifts, and built a life that felt small but mine. For the first time, the silence around me wasn't painful. It was clean. Safe. Honest. Weeks passed. No calls. No texts. No curiosity. It amazed me how easy it was for them to forget their own daughter. But the world has a strange sense of timing. 3 months later, out of nowhere, my phone lit up with a message from my mother. "Isla, your sister's wedding is next month. We need you to be there early to help with preparations. Also, she wants you to give a speech at the reception. Don't disappoint us. Don't disappoint us." The words felt almost funny, as if the last few months, the last few years hadn't happened. Then another message followed. "Wear something elegant. We don't want people thinking you're struggling." I stared at the screen and felt something shift deep inside my chest. A cold, steady line being drawn. They didn't want me. They wanted the idea of me. And that version no longer existed. I didn't reply right away. I let their messages sit there, glowing on my screen like little reminders of every wound I'd swallowed over the years. After an hour, my phone rang. I let it ring out. Then she called again. And again. On the 4th try, I picked up. Her tone was bright, rehearsed, sugar-coated. "Isla. Finally. We were worried. Anyway, listen. Your sister is expecting you to help with the decor and the guest list. There's so much to do. We need you to be reliable for once." Reliable. For once. I leaned my head back against the wall and closed my eyes. "Mom," I said quietly, "you didn't come to my graduation." Silence. Not guilty silence. Annoyed silence. "Oh God, Isla," she sighed. "Are you still on that? It was just a ceremony. Your sister cried when she thought we'd be late for her birthday. We had to be there for her. You're the older one. Be mature. Be mature." The same phrase they'd used every time they pushed me aside. Every time they minimized my achievements. Every time they taught me my feelings were inconvenient. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't tremble. I simply said, "I won't be attending." Mom gasped. "Isla, stop being ridiculous. This is your sister's wedding. You have to come." "No," I breathed. "I don't." The line went quiet, not with concern but with disbelief. like I had just broken a rule carved into stone. And that's when I heard it in her voice. Not worry, but anger. You will regret this, Isla. But she didn't know something important. I had already regretted every year I spent trying to earn a love they never intended to give. Mom didn't call again after that. Instead, the silence stretched for days, the kind that tells you someone is plotting, not hurting. Then the group messages began. My aunt. Beta, your mother is devastated. Apologize and fix this. My cousin. Skipping your own sister's wedding? How selfish can you be? Even my uncle chimed in. Families make sacrifices. Stop embarrassing your parents. Not one of them asked what happened. Not one asked why I left home in the first place. They all just repeated the same script. Do it for the family. Don't cause drama. Your sister deserves this moment. I muted the chat and went on with my life. But one evening as I was closing my shift, I saw a familiar figure standing outside the restaurant. My father. Hands in pockets. Jaw tight. Eyes tired but not from worry. From irritation. Isla, get in the car, he said. I didn't move. I'm not going. He stepped closer. Your mother is crying. Your sister is furious. You're ruining everything. I let his words hit me one by one and fall to the ground like they finally had no place left inside me. You're acting like we abandoned you, he scoffed. We didn't. We just had priorities. That word. Priorities. Sharp as a blade. I met his eyes, steady and unflinching. You did abandon me, I said. You've been abandoning me my whole life. I just finally noticed. He blinked, taken aback, not because he understood, but because I dared to say it. And before he could speak again, I walked past him into the night that felt more like home than he ever had. The wedding day arrived quietly, almost like the universe wanted to see what choice I'd make. I woke up early, made tea and sat by my window as the city started moving. No anxiety. No guilt. Just a calm, steady certainty that I finally belonged to myself. Around noon, my phone lit up with photos from the family group. My sister in her designer lehenga. My parents smiling beside her. Captions full of hearts and glitter. They looked complete. Whole. Unaffected. I thought that would hurt. It didn't. Instead, I sent one message, the only one they would ever get from me again. I wish you all well. But I'm done being the daughter you only remember when you need labor, silence, or sacrifice. I'm choosing peace. Please don't contact me again. I expected a storm. I got thunder. Mom called instantly, voice trembling with anger. How dare you ruin this day? After everything we've done for you. You didn't do things for me, I said softly. You did them around me. Dad grabbed the phone. You're making a mistake you can't undo. No, I replied, the calmest I had ever sounded. I'm undoing a mistake I lived in for years. Then I blocked them. One by one. Not with hatred. Not with revenge. With closure. Months later, I heard from a distant cousin that my absence became the talk of the wedding. That people whispered. That my sister cried. That my parents finally faced the truth of how they treated me. Poetic justice doesn't always arrive loud. Sometimes it comes as silence they can't escape. I closed my window, took a deep breath, and stepped into a life that finally felt like mine.